people who live there
That's
can prosper.
fine. I mean, I guess, but
You know,
I mean, I think like here's the deal. It's like, you know, we have all these rise in hate crimes and against blacks, Muslims, Jews, and you know, to me,
a lot of the big profile ones on the news were fake. A lot of them.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's another issue. Is the fake news thing, and you know, and we've all got to deal with that. Right and left have to deal with that. But to me, nationalism can very easily become fascistic, and I think that's a lot of it. What I was worried about, you know, when we turn inward, and we turn so inward, and we make it so much more about us versus them. That's the thing. It's like I don't, you know, I'm scared about that, like this us versus everybody else mentality.
Fine,
You
but
know?
then again, do you ever see it being justified when it's us versus them? But when you do look at it, is it to them? You know, to the outside.
I mean,
If you hate everybody in the world, but you know that everyone in the world truly does dislike you, you know, I'm just saying, figure like, you know, us versus them and all that stuff. But then again, it's like, might it be justified if you look at it from a different perspective? You know?
I mean,
Like if I see a guy, like I knew a lot of kids in middle school.
Yeah.
Again, I was in the middle school and it was pretty much half black, half Hispanic.
Yeah.
And they were both, you know, little gang wannabe kids and all that. And I was pretty much one of the only white guys there.
Yeah.
I was picked on left and right.
Yeah.
It was, or is it the blacks or the Spanish kids today that's going to pick on me? And, you know, you know, I mean, it was always like this.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I knew other kids too, that
Yeah.
some of them, when they did get out later, a couple of them became, you know, they did the whole skinhead thing and the shaved head and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't, luckily, you know.
Right. It's terrible.
But then again, when I look at these kids, even today as well, you know, I look at, you know, everyone calls them fascists and Nazis and this and that. You know, it's okay, fine. They're wearing the swastikas, they're doing the skinhead thing, they're doing the Roman salutes and all that stuff. But then again, you know, when I see these kids, I look at them, I'm like, I can't blame them too much. I can't really blame them because, you know, this is, you know, that is what they grew up with. Again, I was told as a kid, you know, they called me honky, cracker, this, that, all slurs, what have you. And as a 13-year-old kid, eventually you just snap and say something back. So when I did snap and I called the kid a nigger or a spick or, you know, a coon or whatever the hell, I was the one that went to the principal's office.
Wow.
And I was the one lectured about racism, but I would always ask, well, what about them? Oh, it's the privilege thing. And, you know, to me that was...
You didn't feel privileged at the time.
No.
Yeah.
You know, it was this, that's when I got this taste of this, you know, this insanity.
Listen, them
You know?
against you is wrong, but you against them is also wrong. It's both wrong. You know what
But
I'm saying?
wouldn't it be, but is it natural?
No.
It's not?
It
I mean, if everyone, I mean, if all these, you know, non-white kids were beating up on me and I was a very little person and eventually I snap.
That's same thing. It's kind of a blowback thing, right? That's blowback. Yeah,
you go.
the reactionary thing is natural in like a tribalism kind of like way,
Right.
but I think it's still, you know, it's still again like hate begets hate. You know,
Right.
If you continue to push back, they're going to push back harder.
But at the same token, if I let them keep pushing me,
yeah.
you know, eventually you have to stand, you have to plant your feet and say, I'm done with this. That's how bullying stops. Now, if I keep bullying you, and you do nothing, oh, easy target.
Yeah.
But if you finally, you know, come back and you punch me in the face,
Yeah.
I might start thinking twice about bullying you.
Yeah.
Whether I stop bullying or I bully another kid. For you, it stopped. You know,
Yeah.
you've now defended yourself. You've now shown that you are not afraid to fight. You're not. You know, you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
Your self-interest at that time is more important to you than any grand scheme of any what have yous.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, that's you know, the us versus you thing again. You know, you could say, oh, this, that, but then again, you have to look, is it truly justified? Is it truly the time to have that mentality? Fight or flight?
violence is always irrational, and I think.
Well,
Look, here's the thing, we're all operating on a continuum of history that, you know, is operating and is controlling everybody's perception, whether we like it or not. And so for all those black kids and those Hispanic kids to mock you, you know, probably those black kids have seen white cops, you know, hurt them or hurt their family or disrupt their family or, you know, black kids not being able to get their, to get real estate because we had laws against, black people living in certain areas,
Yeah, but that was way up until the Civil Rights Act.
But it's like, here's the thing, it's all part of this whole continuum that we're all living with. And the thing is, everybody's being manipulated in every single way, and you have to think that what thoughts of yours are your own, and what thoughts have been conditioned into you. And everybody, those black kids have been conditioned to maybe
To hate me.
maybe, or plenty of white people have been conditioned to fear black people.
Just such as the case with me was for it.
And that's the thing.
But the question is, was it not rational to you?
Violence is always irrational.
No, I'm saying, again, for me to be in that position at the time, when I would dread going to school because I knew it was the case, was it not natural for me to fear these black kids? Not just this, that black guy over there, but I meant, to have irrational fear of these black kids. Or what if I saw these kids in the street when there was no adults, teachers around? How would I know? Again, I understand, you don't like.
I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm sorry that, you feel.
But my question, I'm not asking for sorry, I'm asking, do you think that given that case, do you not think it's rational to have the fight or flight mentality? The violence is eventually justified, because again,
if they're coming at you physically, then you've got to defend yourself.
Of course, it starts verbally, and then it comes physically. Everyone's going to try and push their luck. It's at what point do you stop them and stand up for yourself,
I guess. What is the bigger picture here for you, in your mind? What are you
For
trying to say, like in this instance? Are you saying that black people should be feared, or what are you saying?
No, I'm not saying black should be feared. No. I'm just saying it's just a response to you, which is, again, you're against violence and all this stuff, and that violence is bad, and then, hate's against hate. But then again, I'm asking, my question is, given the situation, a specific situation, is it not surprising, or is it even justifiable at some point to have those kind of feelings?
I think it's justifiable.
If you don't know who this
an
guy.
Entire people group, that's crazy. Entire people group.
At the time those are the only black kids I knew.
And you were like 13, right?
I was 13, 12, 13, and those are the only black kids I knew. So for a good while, for a couple of years afterwards, that's what image was always into my head.
Yeah, but it's those kids. You know what I'm saying? It's those kids that don't, that have a problem with you.
But then again, when I go outside, but if I was to go outside and I see something similar to what I saw in the school, like let's say they acted outside, the same way or whatever.
Same kids.
Well, no, different kids acting similar.
Right?
Different kids acting similar.
Then those kids are assholes. Those kids.
But then again,
not every kid.
But for me, that was my confirmation bias at the time,
Yeah.
So again, would it have been? Was it irrational for me, given having seen what I seen? You can't tell me I didn't see what I see. Exactly. I can't tell you didn't see what you saw.
Yeah.
So given me having seen what I seen, just to hold this as an example, could you really blame me?
In the end, violence only stops when one person stops, and then it takes two to tango. So
Fine. So who would you stop? The aggressor or the guy who knows he has to defend himself?
This weird hypothetical. I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
It's not a hard question. Man. Come on.
I don't have an
It's a yes or no question.
But you're filming. Why are you filming me, by the way?
Because I want to know. I want to get your thing, so I don't have a misunderstanding.
Are you like a famous YouTube person?
Nah, I wish. If I was a famous YouTuber, I wouldn't be hanging down here. Trust me, I wouldn't be in these filthy clothes.
Okay. What do you do?
I collect used fryer oil.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Turn it into biodiesel, recycle it,
Right.
all that environmental stuff.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah.
In your instance, I would, if they're physically hurting you, then you have to defend yourself or get punched in the face. But
That's what I'm saying.
That's all
I wasn't going around beating up on them and then being, I wasn't the first one to hit them.
But
I'm not gonna hit you.
Contextually, who the hell knows what kind of things they're dealing with. Your grandparents came from a experience of gulag, and that's incredibly specific to you, and that can affect how you deal with everything. And who the hell knows what they dealt with? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I understand that everyone has their story, right?
Yeah.
But then again, so given this, I'm sure those kids knew some hardships, You know, probably worse than what I was experiencing at the time.
Yeah.
But does that give him the right or any justification to turn it on to me?
No, there's no right for violence. You know.
You know, is it wrong? You know, again, black kids see, you know, all he sees are white cops, and he's arresting, you know, all the black people in his group or whatever, all that stuff, and he develops this, you know, hatred of whites. But does that make it wrong? Does that make it right for him to not have liked me and to wanted to, you know, bully me because I was white?
Never justifies. It never. I mean, especially because you weren't them. But I think, like, if you think about it, and you have an entire people group that are in the vast majority that are controlling every single facet of your life and treating you like, you know, less than. I think, you know, I can see how. Because at 13, you know, I mean, this is a weird question. I mean, I don't know, but 13-year-olds, I mean, hell, half of them don't know what they're doing. Look,
Yeah,
it's all wrong. It's all wrong.
It is, but
it's all upside down. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, I just think that's the way nature is. It's always. I feel like it's always been this way. Life has always been this way if you look it up and all that.
Yeah, I know.
There's always been bullying. There's always been nations conquering nations. There's always been war. There's always been killings, death, this, that. It's not necessarily right, but it is part of life, unfortunately. I'm not saying it should be allowed. I'm saying, you know, it is. And these are some of the things that we have to deal with in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But then again, what does that have to do with turning a flag upside down?
I don't know. I didn't think about that one. I mean, I guess I
You know?
I was thinking.
I mean, if that's the case, you could take, you know, Russia. You could take a lot of European countries and flip their flags upside down. So take Arab countries, Arabs, conquest.
I'm not Arab. Like I'm not.
No, I know.
I'm dealing with I'm dealing from an American perspective where like I'm not going to talk about Muslim issues because I'm not Muslim. I'm not going to talk about Jewish issues because I'm not Jewish. I talk about, you know, being Southern Baptist because I was raised Southern Baptist. This whole show, it really is about being like a Baptist kid, white kid in America. You know, because that's my experience. You know, that's why, you know, I did the flags thing, because it's like, well, I'm American, I can't, you know, there's no point in me doing a Russian thing. People are going to come in here and be like, oh, you're Russian? I'm like, no, I'm not Russian. And they'd be like, why that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. I gotta say something, gotta do something, gotta process it, you know? I mean, a lot of people were very upset about the outcome of this election, and I was one of them. And, you know, it was really difficult for me to process. And so, you know, short of doing something really bad, I'd much rather just draw some things.
Right. But why do all this? Why care about all this? Since you said in 25 years the water's going to drown us all.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, I have kind of done that where, you know, I care about the environment too. You know, it's about everything. It's about everything. It's about everything I'm feeling, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to deal. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all any of us are trying to do. So, I'm sorry if you're offended. I don't mean to offend people. Again, that's why we put this stuff up on the window so people can look and people can think. And they can come in here and they can look at everything else, read the press release. And I'll give you one. I don't know if you got one already. But, you know, read the press release and, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. So, you know, sorry if you're offended, Jeff, but I mean no offense.
All right. My question is this:
What now?
what's the whole thing with an ecstasy pill on Jesus and an upside down cross on his forehead and all that?
It's about self-medication.
How so? Ecstasy?
It's acid, actually.
All right. So Jesus doing some acid with an upside down cross on his forehead.
Yeah.
Screaming, you know, fuck yeah, salvation and all that.
Yeah, sure.
Says the Shin Ministry tracked 666.
Yeah.
I mean, what is
It's about
what's
the mixture. It's like symbology. It's like the mixture of symbols, and like how you can easily take a symbol, flip it upside down, and all of a sudden it means something else, or you know. And it's about like kind of the irresponsibility of like people that just use them all the time. And I think it's just kind of funny to me. And all this stuff is about self-medication. So it's like about me trying to cope with like my life, whatever.
So what's this medication for? What kind of pill is this?
Acid.
No, the one about Jesus playing the cross as a guitar and he's naked and I don't know the book of Dab. I don't think I've ever read that in the Bible.
You ever do dabs, Jack?
No, not really into.
You know about that dab life, Jack?
No, I mean I've smoked weed once in a while, once or twice in my life.
Dabs are weed. They're like it's like hash. It's like super.
So it's like a super weed.
Yeah, and they'll really fuck you up, dude. You should check it out.
So what's the symbolism of that picture right
It's
there?
about like without religion, you know, because I'm not religious anymore. But without religion, you sort of turn to drugs as a kind of way to medicate. So it's not medication.
So is it a substitute for religion in a way to have some sort of religious experience or an outworldly experience?
Yeah.
So then again, it's still subscribing to some sort of spirituality.
Yeah.
So what's the point of drawing, some perverse?
It's not perverse.
I think it's pretty perverted, honestly.
You don't even see his dick, Jack. You don't even see his dick.
It's not about the dick.
Hanging out.
Well, it's not about the dick.
He's just fucking. It's not about the dick, man. Yeah. He's just playing guitar, man. It's about the. You ever get? Because I was growing up and I was thinking about it, and you get these tracks when you're a kid, and people try to lure you into church and like make it seem really cool. And that's what I was thinking about. Like, oh yeah, Jesus just rocking out. He's playing the guitar for you.
So you're all for like making fun of all religions, right?
Not all religions, just the one that I have the most in common with. I mean, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just
Well, you wouldn't have anything in common with it because you feel that it was okay for you to leave it. You feel that it was justified leaving it. So, wouldn't in essence, wouldn't you not have anything, in related to Christianity or baptism or what have you? Since,
I think like I probably still have some sort of like, I don't know. I mean, I deal with this. I mean, these are my issues, man. That's a long shadow to like deal with that kind of repression. On a personal level, like growing up Southern Baptist was really repressive and confusing and difficult. To be 8 years old was like thinking about dying all the time. Like when I was 8 and I started going to church, all they wanted to talk to me, all the adults in my life just talked to me about death. And that's all I thought about. And it just like really crushed me emotionally. So,
Fine. I understand that. It sucked talking to an 8-year-old about death and having to think about it, screwing up a little bit. Sure.
Yeah. So, what can you do? But that's all, Jack. I mean,
But then again, that's just my question: is what's the point of perverting it?
It's mine. It's mine to pervert, and I think it's my relationship with it that was perverse. And it's not about. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a lawman. I'm an artist. So it's my energy to perverse. It's for me to do. I'm not.
But then again, why? Fine, you want to perverse it, but out here in public and all that, why would you?
The gallery's public. I mean, I gotta sell. This is my life. It's what I do for a living. So I mean, like I gotta. Here's things. Like I'm put in this position where I'm at this gallery. I'm going through all this stuff. The original show was supposed to be with the Baptist minister, who was also an artist, and then he fell through. And so then I had all this religious stuff that I was doing because I was going to be like the stoner version. So we had this like really interesting dichotomy. And then it just fell through, but I had all these pieces, so that's part of it, A lot of this stuff has nothing to do with like me. I mean, it's just like we're just trying to put a show together. There's like a lot of nuts and bolts stuff that I had to do.
A lot of nuts.
I know something.
So what's up with these all-seeing eyes? Over there, over there.
It's about
over there,
conspiracies.
over there.
I'm really interested in conspiracies. Not bored with this.
Like the whole Illuminati thing and the all-seeing eyes and all these shadow governments and shadow societies.
Mississippi Burning was an actual conspiracy where a Baptist minister colluded with the sheriff of Philadelphia, Mississippi to kill 3 men and bury them in a dam. And so it was an actual conspiracy. So you have LBJ and Martin Luther King on either side. And I think the idea is that's a perversion of religion, right? To use his church as a base to actually kill people.
Yeah, I do think it's wrong. Absolutely.
And so, but that's where that is an actual conspiracy. That actually happened.
Yeah.
And now he's in jail. But
Yeah, and he was caught.
and so and then the picture of the other guy, that black guy, is the same black guy here. And so he was part of a conspiracy, and that's why I wrote the court case on there. United States versus Cecil Price. And so that conspiracy, and then now there's a conspiracy that's about MLK being shot. So they're all historical stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about historical conspiracies and how we interrelate.
Who's the old geezer right there above the basketball team?
Madison Grant, fascinating person. Madison Grant was an American conservationist. He was the guy who gave us all of our national parks. He also wrote this book in the 1920s called The Passing of the Great Race. He was a eugenicist. And The Passing of the Great Race was a book about eugenics. And Hitler, when he was put in jail to bring the Reichstag down, he read that, and then he made Mein Kampf. So the idea is that Mein Kampf could have easily been written by an American, which is terrifying. So that's Madison Grant, and a lot of people don't know who he is. So
No, I still have to look him up.
yeah, you should. Man. It's fucking fascinating. It's terrifying.
If you got Hitler to write a book, that'd be something interesting about him.
I mean, he was just talking. He was just saying what he wanted to hear, and that would have nothing to do.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of eugenicists around during that time period, like in France and Germany as well, and America. But the point being is that the Holocaust could happen here.
So what's up with the whole like fuck man thing?
Huh? Which one?
Like up in that corner and that big ass piece right behind you?
No, that just means like fuck, man. Like I've got to deal with this. Like fuck, man. This is crazy. You know? That's all it is.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of it's stoner shit, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's not nearly as maybe offensive as people want to think. Like, once you get down to it, it's all about American history and about my personal life. So, yeah.
Cool. Alright, man, I'm out of here. My boss is probably gonna be pissed that I didn't park the truck by now.
Okay, dude. Go.
See ya.
Go with God. Nice meeting you.
Nice seeing you too.
Yeah.
What a fucking crock. He's got a Jewish sounding last name. And this is all his interpretation. Hey, Rabbi, what you doing?